one of the reasons why City have not done great in all these games against these big teams who have, of course, some qualities is that these teams have found a way to keep City to play through the middle. No, to stop City from playing through the middle and force them to go wide. When City have played through the middle, they can be very dangerous. I'm sorry that the game against Man United, when City won and they were comfortable, it was the job that Rodri and at times Rodri and John Stones were doing that caused problems to Man United, where they would stretch Man United's midfield. They would in turn go into some half spaces. And remember how United conceded the last goals, really high up the pitch, who won the ball, and then Erling Haaland scored a goal. They actually used that midfield so well. But against better teams like Spurs, like Arsenal, what these teams have done is to force it to go wide. Unfortunately for Pep Guardiola, though, unlike previous seasons where his wingers or wide players were devastating, more clinical with passes or at times goal scoring, it hasn't been the case this season. So teams have been comfortable to block the midfield and get City to play out wide. And when they had to go wide, they've gone with either Vardiol or Ake, Akanji or Stones or Walker. If Walker plays, it's a plus. Yeah. But in this game, he wasn't there. So when he has to go with Akanji and he has to go with Vardiol or Ake, there's a problem. Because they can't take people on 1v1. They're not necessarily the best crosses of the ball in those half spaces as well. And they are not typical fullbacks. So they lack any inventiveness in the wide area from those fullbacks. Also, apart from the fullbacks, if you had a Riyad Mahrez or you had a Grealish of last season, or Raheem Sterling when he was at his peak, and Leroy Sané, and they were playing as proper wingers, apart from the coaching from Pep, their natural abilities to allow the team to create scenarios where they could find these moments. Jack Grealish hasn't been on form this season, and when you threw him on, he couldn't necessarily do the job that other wingers would do. And Jeremy Doku can beat players, but the final flourish is not there.
Besides, he struggles in the big games.
Yes, he has.
2 matches against Chelsea.
Yes, he has. But what Arsenal did great for me is what I've said. Arsenal knew that if they can give City no room in the middle of the park and force City to go wide, they will be comfortable.
They could stop them.
And what Arteta did was great coaching, because having sat deeper than they normally do sit, they actually created the better scenarios in the game at Etihad to have gone on and win the game. And for me, when you want to win the league, you can be happy that you've taken 4 points from City. But when you isolate this game and put it in context, I'm sure Arteta last night didn't have a good sleep. He would have been scratching the part of his head, knowing that had things just clicked, had players made better decisions, had attacking bites been better, they could have walked away with 3 points from the Etihad. They had better scenarios to create better chances to punish City, but they just lacked the attacking verve. Yeah. And for both teams, they didn't show enough in attacking end.
Daniel, I was going to say that, I mean, obviously someone sent a message that you predicted that Arsenal were going to go to City and beat them. It didn't happen. But still, that is a very impressive result. Because when you put the result in context, and you look at how long Arsenal had gone without even getting a point there, this was a remarkable point for them.
Yeah, remarkable. I said at the start of the season that it wasn't like Arsenal couldn't beat Manchester City in terms of tactical play, player for player. It was a mentality block, and they needed to get over that. So that Community Shield win over City opened the door for them. They beat City at the Etihad with a clean sheet, and then another clean sheet. So this is 2 league games against Man City, and this hasn't happened to Pep ever. Yeah. He's not faced a team over 2 legs. And
it's actually the first game City hasn't scored at home with a very long
time. Yeah. So that's credit to Arsenal and the growth that they've made over the past couple of years. But for me, I predicted Arsenal will win because I didn't see how City were going to break this Arsenal team down. The defensive structure, and I'm not talking about the back four, the defensive structure of the entire team is so impressive for a team that plays fluid attacking football. It's very rare to see a team that is very forthcoming, a team that loves to go forward, be very difficult to beat, even in terms of transitions. Arsenal they are almost the perfect tactical team, perfect tactical team. And that is why I really didn't see how Manchester City, especially with the current form of their players, will be able to break Arsenal down. What I saw was Arsenal will create some certain scenarios, very similar to what we saw in the first leg, and they will have the cutting edge to be able to get the goals. Unfortunately for Arsenal, they lacked it. And if you watch the game, and Citro has rightly put it, in terms of creating scenarios that could easily have led to goals. Arsenal created those. Manchester City had possession, and they like what I like to call noisy possession. They were just passing the ball around. They really didn't threaten Arsenal at all. And that's what hurts. And I sort of side with Sicho, that Arteta will look at this game and feel like, in as much as before the game, most people would have, because of Manchester City's pedigree, most people would have expected City to go on and win the game. His side showed that they could easily have walked away with the Etihad with the 3 points. But
so
I don't think
he'll be slightly disappointed. They were not bolder.
He'll be slightly disappointed.
It's
not even about boldness. It's about having the cutting edge.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, when we spoke about this game 3 weeks ago, I made a statement. I said, if Martinelli plays, it will be a done deal.
Yeah, I was just going to say that they didn't miss Martinelli, though.
Yeah.
If Martinelli had played that game, and we saw how Manchester City successfully caged Saka on the right-hand side, what I didn't see was them handling...
Jesus?
No, Martinelli, especially if Kyle Walker was injured. So when it was confirmed that Kyle Walker wouldn't play this game, my prayer was Martinelli would be fit, because for me, that would have been a done deal. That would have been a channel for Arsenal to be able to punish them. And you saw, once Trossard came on and he sort of stretched, Gabriel Jesus was playing a bit narrow, and that was sort of playing into Manchester City's hands.
Give Doku a taste of his own medicine.
But look, when Trossard came on, you saw how he was able to stretch it. But Trossard he's more of a ball hoarder.
Yeah.
Martinelli is a bit more direct, and I felt that's what Arsenal needed.
So that's what they needed.
That's what they needed.
Especially with the way Arsenal sat off a little bit, and City had to push up. The spacing behind us,
It was tailor-made for quick wingers.
Send Martinelli on his right.
It was perfect.
Fair enough.